Hey, I'm Adam Thompson. Today I want to talk about why, in your attempts to drive more performance through bringing in measures and KPIs and that stuff, you're probably causing the exact opposite thing to happen. Let's get right into it. Now, we bring in measures and KPIs because we're looking for people to be able to respond and hit the targets. Think about your reaction that you've ever had whenever these have been introduced. You'll say, hopefully this will blow over soon, then we can get back to just doing our job. Now, why does this occur? It comes from one of the foundational aspects of the relationship, which I'm going to draw up using these two words here. This comes from the work of Peter Block.
It's Peter Block, 05.
All right, you don't experience your freedom and feel comfortable at the same moment.
You've got to check out his work if you haven't already. And he refers to the difference between parenting as compared to partnering. Now, parenting puts us into a relationship that looks like this: dominant and dependent. Now, here's the thing that might surprise you. When I say dominant, you've probably got the idea in your mind of a domineering sort of person. But dominance can also be caretaking, generating loyalty, generating any sort of stick with me, mate, and you're going to be okay. Either way, what you are doing is controlling another person. I've done that myself. It's so tempting to do. You get to feel like you're saving the day, like you're the savior, you're the one that's going to make everything better. But what it's doing is it sets up a relationship of dependence. Now, the relationship of dependence is also attractive because if you are in a dependent relationship, then guess whose problem any of the issues are? Not yours. Those in the dependent part of the relationship want the dominance to occur. That way they don't have to step up into the full face of accountability. And the comfort you get from being the dominant one in the relationship is the feeling of control that things are going to be okay. Either way, both people are avoiding anxiousness. So that means that when we go to set our KPIs, they are seen as something that can cause problems, that can cause issues. So what we need is another way. And the way we're going to think through this, think about it not in terms of a parenting relationship. You've got the manager of the restaurant and my job is to caretake, hopefully not upset people, make everything okay. But look at your job as one of being in a partnering relationship, which means you do the mental leap of saying, how would I be treating these people and the information I have at my disposal if we were all in fact partners in the business? And here's a magic number for you. 51%. If you're in the managerial role, everyone's a partner, everyone gets a share of the profits of the business. You are the 51% owner though, which means if it comes down to it, you're in the position of having to make that final decision. Now, what are the sort of things you would do if you're in partnership together? If two new people come in, you'd sit them down, you'd explain to them what the point of the restaurant is, you'd explain to them what the market is or who the restaurant exists to serve, you'd talk about the type of things the restaurant actually does, you'd talk about the vibe, then you'd talk about what everyone does, what each of the now 10 partners' contribution is to the restaurant. Then think about what would you do at the end of each night's service. You'd be looking at basically things like the revenue, how much money came in through the door, how many seats did we fill. But the point is, instead of it being the parental style dominant manager sitting there saying, I'm looking at the numbers and I'm going to walk out either with happy or I'm going to walk out with a frown, you've got a group of people, partners in business, sitting around together looking at the numbers. And that's going to generate questions, it's going to generate ideas, your menu items might come up.
We have a meat course of venison sous vide. Comes with headphones so you can hear the sound of the exact animal you are about to consume, illustrating nature's life to death cycle.
But the point is, we're in a situation where everyone's acting like a partner in the business. This seems like a good idea, right? Well, you're going to encounter resistance, and it's going to come from the same two areas that we spoke about here before, because the people in the dominant role are being asked to let go of control. To let go of control puts you into the world of anxiousness, and it might not go right. One of the reasons it doesn't work very well is there is emotional work required to no longer be dependent. The full force of having to step into the anxiousness of the performance of this team is now as much my problem as the manager's. It's actually a big leap. And a lot of people are going to come from a certain value system where the truth of the world is based in whether the authority figure thinks I'm okay or not. So the level of actual adult development required to move to that stage can be quite large. So there is heavy emotional work required to move out of a relationship of dominant and dependence, or to put it another way, to move out of a relationship of parenting into a relationship of partnering. I use a model called the leadership maturity profile to work through these such issues, and that's often the missing element. If we're up for the emotional work, we've got half a chance of generating a situation where KPIs and measures are welcomed, because that allows us to see how well our restaurant is functioning. That's all for now. You can find me on the usual socials. Share, subscribe, like, it's always much appreciated. You can sign up to my blog, zenorganisations.com. That allows you to get this video into your inbox every week, and with each video comes an article. And you can always get in touch with me if you'd like to have a half-an-hour conversation with how these ideas might be applied in your organisation. See you next time.
So we'll change.